Hi, I'm John Stuart Hill, founder of the Good Contractors List, and I'm here today with Kyle Jensen from H20RX, and they are a sprinkler repair company. They do sprinkler installation and all kinds of drainage and stuff like that. Good to have you on the team.
Thanks, John.
Man, I really appreciate you coming in and talking with me. We've just had just a great conversation, and one of the things I'll just kind of tell you up front, one of the things that I loved about Kyle when I first met him is that he just has this very, very positive attitude on life, and he cares so much about people, and that you can't help but have a good company if you care about people. That's always what I feel, and if you base your company around that. He is. Tell me a little bit about what you do as a company first, and then I want to talk a little bit about some other things that I want to talk about. Let's just start with what you do as a company, so we can tell people up front about that, and then we'll talk.
So we are a sprinkler, new installations as well as repairs. The bulk of our business is residential repairs. We do drainage, of course, and that's because if it's raining a lot, you're probably going to need drainage more than you are going to need sprinklers. But this time of year, it's really sprinklers. We're starting to see a lot of dry areas in yards. We're going out every day, sun up to sundown. I mean, we're not a big company, but we have 5 employees. We have one other truck. I am specifically currently at the present time just doing evaluations for people, trying to give them a plan and idea of what's wrong so that we can get over there and get this thing knocked out.
And what areas do you cover mainly?
All of Tarrant County.
Okay.
When you're a small company, it's difficult to spread your wings further. The further you spread them, the less quality, the less time we can spend with you. Mm-hmm. So we try to really focus in on our demographics so that we can give them a good experience.
You know, I always get asked this all the time about the Good Contractors List too. It's just like, oh, that could be great in Austin, that could be great in San Antonio, and I'm just like, well, I still want to make it great here.
Right.
It's like when you start getting big like that, and yeah, there could be more money in it, there could be more things like that, but honestly, I think that what we share is that we care more about our reputation
than dollars,
really, when it comes right down to it. We want to be able to, at the end of the day, go, we did everything that we could do. Now, if we get too big, obviously we're detached.
It's a struggle.
We're kind of detached from it. You mentioned something a little bit earlier when you were talking about the water. I think you said something about the water bill or something like that. But basically, what we were talking about earlier that I thought was kind of funny, because whenever the sprinklers come on and there's like water running down the gutter, you see it like running down the street. You're like, did these guys even like place this on my yard, or was it all going to the street? It's like, and when we were talking about this, I never even thought about it, but you do something different and you approach things differently than most irrigators do. Talk to me about that, because I thought this was really interesting.
So, as an irrigator, my job is to help you have a great looking yard, but not on your dime of spending more water on your water bill to create that same effect. Anyone can add more water and get a yard greener.
Yeah.
But it is my job and my approach, because I don't want to have a high water bill. Mm-hmm. I know that my approach shouldn't be that I'm going to give you a green yard, but at the expense of a high water bill. So everything that we do, our focus is always, how can we get you better coverage, but also keeping your water bill as a manageable rate, because mm-hmm. water's expensive.
Right.
So, that's our first approach, is to figure out through an evaluation, how do we create the perfect layout and reduce the water output, because soil can only absorb a certain amount of water before it either creates runoff or a puddle. Mm-hmm. So how do we reduce that? how do we? So we first have to know how much can the soil absorb. Our area, most soils are clay loam. I mean, that's just the layout of North Texas.
Mm-hmm.
So that soil has a saturation rate, which is generally 1/4 of an inch per hour. And there's studies on that. So with that fact, we know that we want to apply less than 1/4 inch of water every time we turn it on. Now, granted, your coverage has to be right first before you can even go into this approach. So you need to get the coverage right, get the heads right, get the head heights right, get the obstructions out of the way, get the head smooth, placed, all of those things. And then you approach it with, okay, now that we have good coverage, and now that we're going to turn it on, how long can we run it before that runoff occurs? Okay, now we need to turn it off. Now, part 2, is that enough water for the grass for the week or for the day? No, we need more water because most of us in Tarrant County are under a code, a mandate by the city to only water on certain days. Okay, so we need more water on that grass or it's going to look bad. So we apply that first round and then we need to hit it again. And we hit it a 3rd time. And now we've applied a 1/2 inch of water and the grass is going to be full. Okay, so perfect. And now we can water twice a week because most cities are mandated to a certain day of the week that you can water. So depending on that, we lay out a plan and a format that's going to give you maximum water at the least cost. So everything that we're doing is creating our job as contractors is to give you a quality product that's going to return money to you so that you can end up paying our bill that we charged you and you can pay it off. So it's essentially free, just like a higher SEER on an air conditioner.
Yeah.
You know, they always talk about that. Go with a higher SEER, your utility cost will go down and you'll pay this sucker off. It's the same approach.
Right. Well, what I love, and your name actually says it to me, is H20RX. So, like, if you went to the doctor and you were feeling sick, and the guy didn't really even check you out, and he goes, you know what, I'm just gonna give you this medicine, you know, and it's a sure fix because you're sick, and that's what you look like. You're sick. Well, wouldn't you much rather go to a doctor that says, okay, well, let's make sure we check other things. Let's check your blood work. Let's check different things to make sure exactly what's causing you to be sick, you know, and in the long run, it's not going to get worse, you know. So I mean, so the RX part of the H20RX is like you actually approach every job like I am going to inspect and find out what is going to be best for this to make this a healthy yard.
John, you get it.
Yeah.
You get it. We create a prescription and we take it very serious. This is our life.
Yeah.
We take it very serious. How can we help you? And how can we get you a good result? How can we give you a prescription for your yard specifically that will get that grass well?
That's exactly what you want when you're dealing with your lawn and getting sprinkler systems and drainage systems and all those things, because all those things work together, and these guys are the guys that can do it. I can tell you that if you go to Google or any of those other places, you're going to find that he has impeccable reviews, and he's managed to do this because of a process that he has. He wants to be able to duplicate the process each time, and if you send texts out that are along the same lines as you, that look at everything like this is a prescription for your lawn and here's how you make sure it all happens right, you're saying that it will naturally affect every customer the same way at the end, no matter what that scope looks like, right?
That's exactly right. So to be in my opinion, a successful company, you've got to be able to duplicate your efforts. So me coming out and assessing your yard every time, starting the plan, having processes and procedures in place so that every time I say to raise a head, it gets raised a specific way, to a specific height, to a specific tolerance, it's going to give you the same result. So just like McDonald's, you go to McDonald's to get a hamburger, you know, no matter where you go, as long as it's McDonald's, you're going to get exactly what you were looking for. So our approach is the same on that.
Yeah.
We have to be. In order to give you a quality product, we have to be able to replicate it every single time for every single one so that our reputation can give us 5-star reviews.
Yeah. Oh, that's awesome, man. You know, and he's a great company. It's an awesome company, but I just want to say that you're one of the most positive people I've met. I watched your video the other day on Facebook where you went through your office, and literally every inch of his wall, I think, or I maybe every foot. We're not measuring inches there, but hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of positive quotes. Tell me what it's like at the culture at your place and what you try to strive for.
So, our goal, of course, is to get good results on your yard, but we also want to empower our employees to be upstanding citizens. Our motto is great attitudes do not end at 5 p.m. Our lifestyle has to be the same outside of work as it is in work.
Absolutely. You want to change the person, not...
Correct.
Yeah.
So, you know, we've got several sayings all over our wall, just of positive quotes, just to kind of reinforce our vision, our goal, because we know that as a person that's calling us, they've got a problem. They're stressed. They're wanting something to be better. They're tired of contractors that they have come to their house to fix their sprinklers, and they have to point out what's wrong with their sprinklers in order to get it fixed. Well, that's not a good sprinkler person. If you have to point it out to them, that's a losing battle. So at our office, we have that at the very beginning of the day. We talk about, hey, which one is your favorite quote for this week? We have them in English and Spanish. So like, for instance, one of them, attitudes are contagious. Is yours worth catching? So, I mean, it's
yeah, is yours worth catching?
We know that homeowners are in a situation where they may not be having the best day. And if we can help to show them a solution and a positive attitude, when we leave, we want you to feel like it's done, it's taken care of. You can take it off your plate. You can check that box.
Yeah, very good, very good. That's awesome. And yeah, all of the guys that work for you, they're not subcontractors. They are employees. These guys are a part of your family. They're invested in you, and they're invested in this company. So yeah. It's just the perfect storm, guys. If you need any kind of sprinkler service, any kind of drainage that you need to have done, installation. Matter of fact, if you don't have sprinklers and you need installation, start with people who know exactly how to set it up. And it's not just going to be thrown on your yard and let's just try to cover as much space as possible. Anybody can do that, but we're going to find out exactly how much water your lawn needs and those types of things. Also, I need to say that you are in the community. You're an avid cyclist. Your son and your daughter both love to ride bikes now, and your 6-year-old son has been riding since he was 3, right? Well, and in trying not to drop any big names, there is a certain Betsy Price. Betsy Price is the mayor of Fort Worth, and she now has you on committees and all kinds of stuff to help your community out. Right? Now, tell me a little bit about what you do on those.
I'm on the Pedestrian and Bicycle Advisory Commission for the City of Fort Worth. It's an appointed by council, and we help our community create more bike paths, better bike paths, connecting sidewalks. Anything that's just going to help communities get together.
And you were talking about a youth that, like, in the youth that you're on, that you help out youth, and it's called Steer. What was it again?
Steer Fort Worth. That was something that when I moved into the city of Fort Worth, and that's how I kind of met Betsy. Of course, riding bikes. She's an avid cyclist, and I'm an avid cyclist. So we would ride together, and then we would also talk about ways that we can improve. So she started Steer Fort Worth, which is just a young professionals group that teaches, of course, in a governmenting body way, a little bit about how to serve your community, how to be an upstanding citizen, how to do projects within your own community without city's help, because the city can't be responsible for everything, right? There's just not enough money in their budget to fix a sidewalk that's wavy. So there are ways that as a community, as yourself, you can make changes in that community without the city's help. So that's what it.
Well, and it all starts with the people, right? And so I believe this next generation is going to have some great responsibility. And I think that the mayor saw your personality. I think she saw your heart, and she said, this is the kind of guy that we want influencing those youth, those young people who are coming up, and so that we can have a generation that's going to take responsibility and not just lay it off on the city, not just lay it off on the government to do. Because we really have, if this particular environment with COVID-19 and all that stuff has done anything for us, I believe it has pointed us to a place where we have to say, you know what, we have to take responsibility for ourselves. We have to take responsibility for our neighbors. We need to love them. We need to care for them, and we need to make sure that we are making right choices. And so, man, the right choice for your sprinklers, for your sprinkler installation, for drainage, I highly, highly recommend H20RX, and you can find them at h20rx.com or forever. I'm hoping you will be able to find them on the goodcontractorslist.com.
If the job's not right, we'll get it